Magazine Monday, Magazine Monday, shining light on Magazine Monday. I don't know which way to turn this chair so it doesn't glare right there. Got the layout back from the show yesterday. Set up a couple things, put the helicopter back in its place, put a little bit of, that actually was from the show. Helicopter back in its place. We got Critter 1, Diesel 1, Reluctant 1, all this fun stuff. Look at that. All right, let's get to it. Let's wipe this lens, a little bit funky. All right, hopefully you guys can see what's going on. Let's move this chair. Things are falling over, and it only gets better from here. It only gets better from here, folks. We're going to wipe the lens one more time. Because it is a Magazine Monday, we're doing a special fold-out Midwest Mod U-Trax beautiful HO scale layout. I love this engine. That's right, we got the U-boats on here. They look... U28B is a very specific looking engine. Let me get a pointer so my fingers don't distract you, because we got scenery on the ground. We got crap everywhere. We got cones. We got things. We got stuff. And I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's okay to have a messy layout, workspace every once in a while. Look at those caboose. We got caboose behind, caboose here, lots of caboose. All right, so number one, we're going to use a little paint towel. That way it looks crappy, but you can actually see where I'm looking. Look at this. So the GEs, you could kind of, you know what, F it. You could see the U28Bs had this nice little plank board down the middle of the fans, and the fans were straight up and down. U30s were a little bit different, and then U33s had the overhang, much like kind of like an early Dash 9, and continuing. You got a U30 CG right there, or maybe a 28 CG, but that was the cowl body U-boat. And it is pulling, quote unquote, a possible Southwest Chief. I don't know. Let's go. So, buy our stuff. Buy our stuff. Yes, there are scissors there because I just cut the top off of that, and we'll get to it in a second. Union Pacific, let's read about this. Ooh, Overland is going to do an SD40-2. That probably looked so amazing. Oop. Amazing. Athern. Now, we are doing Model Railroader from May of 92, just so we're all clear, and then we're going to do Model Railroader from October of 98. We're back in the 90s, ladies and gentlemen. 295. Oh, how the times have changed. Totes faves, look at that. Got some SW units. That looks like a Rio Grande SW 1000 and a 1500, you could tell. 1000s had the single stack, 1500s had the double stack. See the exhaust? Look at the difference. Pretty cool. And for a basic kit, gotta love the blue boxes. I was just talking about this the other day. I have thoughts, which I'll probably chime in on in the next couple days. We don't know. Non-dynamic brake GP50, count the fans. You got 3, and they are Quah fans. That special kind of bubble-looking fan kind of was rounded on the top. But this one had dynamic brakes, so you got the one in the middle, and then you're working with B trucks, not C trucks, EMD, and then GP40s. Look at that. Because they had the flat fans. Even though you have 3 fans, they were flat. With the chicken grate style on the side. Pretty nifty. Yeah, the Jeeps had, the 50s had this more modernized grill. All right. Nice Athern advertisement. They got some, if you can deal with the glare, they have some of these F units. I just like this. Look at that. Basic models. You got the cowl body FP45 right there. Looked good. And last but not least, the Rock Island SD40-2. Once again, count the fans. But we got C trucks on the EMD, missing the dynamic brakes, which was a Rock Island thing for most of them. And we're moving on. So, little lesson for you. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, my goodness. New 4-unit cars. Today's in the model. And these were just linked together. They weren't articulated. But they had a little drawbar in the middle of the 2 center units. And then the outside ones had a cupola Look at that on the side. Look at that horn hook coupler. So pretty. Hi, everybody. We do horn hook couplers because we haven't invented some of these plastic McHenry couplers yet. But just all this stuff that goes wrong along with it. The accoutrement, the crane lifter, and the tower. The toe in the crane. Sounds like a kid's book. Hi, kids. This is a story about the toe and the crane. This glare is still driving me nuts. We're getting this over here. There it is. Boom. Winning. No more glare. Wow. O scale. O scale this, O scale that. Look at that. GP20 low hood. I got a GP20 around here somewhere with Southern Pacific, but I want to say it's almost like a low hood Jeep 9, but no, it's a 20. And then 9, phase 2. There it is. Jeep 20 low hood. So yeah, that's what I have. It's a lifelike. I don't know what this is. What is it? Challenger Imports. What was that? Brass? Let's keep moving. Hoopata! G-Scale. There's a McDonald's right next to Knott's Berry Farm in Buena Park. And I just remember for years they had a train set up. I believe they still do. But these white pass units were there. They had G-Scale trains running around the ceiling all over this McDonald's. Really something to see if you've ever been to Buena Park. McDonald's right outside of Knott's Berry Farm. Something cool. All right, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Don't miss it. Love it. Farm rail. This guy out of somewhere that models HO scale farm rail has a little L layout and he does bang up work. I love this paint scheme. It's almost like that oxide red stripe down the side, all white. You think it would get dirty, but because you're out in the middle of nowhere, the exhaust does not blow down through any tunnels. And the black on the trucks kind of keeps the road dirt at bay for the paint scheme wise and blobby-dee-bee, blah-blah-blah-blah-dee-bee. Grain Belt diesel roster. Just in case you were wondering, there's the roster of Los Diesels. They have one GP7. The rest are Jeep 9s. And I love this design here for this track plan. Let's take a quick overview of this. Zoom in. And I just am an absolute huge fan of the design. I would love to see it built. But hey, it's a good start. Schneider. Trackside photos. Whoosh. Got an FA right there. Looks like a PA, but it only has B trucks, not C trucks. Still the same amount of power, like I always say. Look at that. That's a great looking locomotive. Yay! Yeah, the FAs had 8 powered trucks, and the PAs had 8 powered trucks. The only difference is the PAs had C trucks, so they had an idle wheel in the middle. So cool. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. 1992 modeling. Love this GATX SW1500. More than likely that is a Concord unit because you can see how thick the handrails are. If it was an Athearn unit, you'd probably have metal handrails on it. Oh, yeah. Heavily modified, though. Who knows? Maybe it's a different kit. 92 was a different time for railroading as far as kit bashing and all that other fun stuff. But it's really cool to see how it's done. What did this guy say he used? What did he use as his base unit? I'm trying to figure out. Where does it say that? It's got to say somewhere. Ah, here it is. I was right. Conrail MP15. Okay, got it. Just so we're clear, folks, I have not read these magazines or done a pre-read. Sometimes I do every once in a while, but for the most part, when you see, look at this model of the month, when you see what I'm looking at for the first time, I'm seeing it for the first time, or haven't seen it in years since I read the magazines. I perused through a lot of these, but haven't really done all the detail work, and no man's got a good enough memory to keep up on that sturf. All right, you're going to see the shadow of my hands, but at least we're not going to have glare. This is a beautiful shot of a Chicago Northwestern. Looks like a GP35, but let's close in on the fans. Might be a GP50. Looks like a GP50 because it's got the bigger grills like we talked about. winterization hatch. So more than likely a GP50, but that is definitely an Athearn unit. Great job, guys. Let's continue. That's a great shot. Mod Utrecht HO scale railroading. Look at these U-boats. These are great looking U-boat right there. Burlington Northern. That is a U. Remember we talked about. Oh, no, that's a C. C30-7, probably an Atlas unit. Or just heavily modified Athearn because it's got the metal handrails. But you could see this line right here. So probably C30-7 that somebody did some amazing modeling work on. Or bought it Overland Brass. And then behind it we got an SD40-2. And possibly another SD40-2. I can't see the number, but if it's a 6,000 or 7,000 series, we might be cooking with grease. All right. Love this. Look at that Burlington route. Beautiful silver Zephyr. We got some more here. More there. Got a nice little steam engine. Hey, Milo, look at the steam engine. It looks good. Look at those cars. Those are beautifully detailed cars as well. Automobiles, if we must say. And, of course, if you got to get some laundry done, there's a laundromat. Let's zoom in on that. God. This is great stuff, man. I don't even know what that was. Are they taking these shots outside? What's the deal? Possibly. Fold out. Here it comes. Oh, there you can see it. The Burlington Route Zephyr and its glory. It's an ease unit. E-A-E-B. On some passengers with the maybe a mail train. That actually looks like a mail train. And closely behind it is its wife, the female train, yelling at him to get out. And here's our U-Track. Neat. Look at this. You know what I loved it is that they cut and pasted an overview from each one of these modules and then put it together almost like you're looking at a satellite photo. Yes, kids, a satellite photo. Or a U-2 spy plane came from above. We need to get some recon. I really want to see those Santa Fe units they were talking about. These are great pictures. Great concept. Come on, model railroader, step it up. Marklin! I want to run your Marklin. I'm going to run your Marklin. Marklin, Marklin, Marklin. Germans running Marklin. Let's visit up with Marklin. Marklin. Gonna run Marklin. We're visiting Marklin. From all the Marklin. From stoves to ices. Marklin built the stove. Now we build the ice. We're melting the ice with Marklin. Look at all this Marklin shit. All right, that's a cool layout. Let's see what the along the line is. Ooh, portable ponds. We're not doing this. I'm not doing this. Advertisements. Get our stuff. Hey, Milo, look at that. A cool little drawing. Keep going. Long's. If you know about Long's Model Railroad Supply as a kid or as a young teenager, I remember visiting there and being like, this is just a Long's drugstore. And then they had this whole section of trains. And then you could order all their stuff online. And they got great prices because they were Long's drugs. I don't know. They just were able to import, export. Great pack. Import, export. Kato GP35 coming your way in the HO scales. Which, hands down, in my opinion, I love Kato's GP35. Let's keep moving. National Model Contest winners. This is Mac Attack. First time out of the bag. I cut it open. Let's get this thing out. And you can see, there's the plastic. I'm going to take a sniff test. Ooh, that smells like the factory. I don't recommend that one, kids. New Giants from EMD, how to detail SD80 and 90 Max. We're not going to go through this whole magazine. I'm kidding. We will. Quickly, Athearn. Now look. See, this is that advertisement I was talking about the other day. They take an SW1500, great paint scheme. Always love the H1s. Homage and, harkens back to the Great Northern. Wish it would have stayed that way. Oh well. So they take the real unit, which looks like the top of an SD40-2 or some sort of EMD unit, and they put it next to this EMD unit, and a couple of the cars they're moving around. I would have used a Union Pacific SW1500 if I would have had Union Pacific But at the time, it was all the rage, the H-1 scheme. And I love that they added, you can also get the NASA. That's right. We built the rockets for NASA and we moved them with the SW-1500. Yay. Big muscle, tiny engine. Don't judge a book by its cover, y'all. All right, keeping on, moving. Keeping on, moving. Timmy, you're in rare form. I didn't get any sleep. The advertisements. If you want to subscribe to Model Railroader, back then, never disappointed. Now, always disappointed. Model Railroader. But you can go online and look at stuff. I don't want to. I want to look through papers. I want the visceral experience. Spend so much time looking at a screen on a phone and all this other crap. Love this. Track planning, CF7. Whoosh. See that? Look at that little CF7 hiding. You think I wouldn't see you, but I did. I did, and it looked good. Wunderbar. Hey, Milo, Chicago Northwestern. You guys may be asking, why do you keep saying Milo? Watch the movie Atlantis. You'll understand. It's an old Disney movie from the 90s, late 90s. One of the last of the animated features that were actually animated with the cartoons, with ink and paint, and Forerunners, Superliner, Crane, Mail Train. And once again, you turn the page and you get the Female Train. Happy holidays, everybody. All right. Ooh, product news. That looks like fun. What? Who made that? Oh, it's Overland. Surprise. But I do like the fact that we have the Walthers GP15. Love it. It's a GP15-1, if I'm not mistaken. There it is, GP15-1. Union Pacific, and then they did the UPY, and it was so much fun. And I remember the first time I saw a bunch of these guys with these refurbished old U-boats painted dark gray was down in El Paso, Texas, when I was out on tour. Pretty cool seeing them working that crappy yard right next to the border, but it was so awesome. Chicago Northwestern, probably in an O scale, or what is that? Is that O scale? What does it say? S scale. Whoa. This is 1998. Train cam. Look at that. You can drive your train around the layout and see it on the video. Technology, so amazing. And yet 27 years later, here we are. We don't even have one of those running around the layout. So simple. Would be so simple. Love product reviews and Mac-a-Tiroc. Modeling the SD80 and 90 Mac. Now, these were the pinnacle of EMD. So amazing. Even though these were SD9043s, they were downgraded because I guess they were blown out prime movers or something. Or maybe they never got the prime mover. But they were supposed to be 6,000 horsepower. These were 5,000 horsepower, and I believe they were actually 5,000. But these got downgraded to, that's what, SD9043 Mac. Something like that. Look at that. Rust in the trucks. That's good stuff. Man, look at all this extra detail work. These were rail power shells. They obviously used Athearn handrail kits, and then they used wire, bent them into place. That's how you did it back then. Some sort of windshield wiper kit. Double down on that. And then back in the day, it was hard to find any laser cut glass kits, but I'm sure this one probably had it. Either that or you cut your own little plastic. Or maybe they did actually have a kit. I love this. Look at that. I wonder what they used exactly. We will find out because here is the parts list. Let's go through it. SD40-2 mechanism. So look at that. Old school. Overland model motor. Huh? They probably mean the mechanism, yeah, for the trucks. And that's what you got. So rail power, they made the shell. I even think they painted it. They pre-painted it. But if they didn't, whoever did the paint job on this, bang up sticks awesome, dude. Look at that. And then boom. God, Mac Attack, which will be coming up soon on our, not our newest podcast, because we're finishing up Yankee Doodle Paint Scheme. The last two episodes, part 3 and part 4, Yankee Doodle Paint Scheme. I'm a Yankee Doodle. These are actual, this is a prototype photos, just so we're not, like, hey, that looks better than that. That looks realer, more real. Boom, boom. Beautiful looking units. Cadillacs of Conrail. And we're just going to skip past everything else and see if they still have it along the line. Hey, Milo, you used one of those this weekend. Beautiful. Along the line, this one is markers. And I'm not talking about what you use to draw. So here we go, markers. Let's read that. Railroading is a hazardous occupation. On foggy nights like this one, it could get downright scary. And those 2 dots of red don't offer much protection. The block signal should keep any following train at a respectable distance, but if the fog sets in much thicker than this, the brakeman might start tossing a fusee on the tracks every half mile or so, just to be sure. Those red lights don't offer a lot of protection, but a little bit of silicone rubber might, eh? Little joke. Everybody have a wonderful week. Take care. Be well. And thanks for going through this lovely Magazine Monday with me. My name's Timmy D. And just remember, the most important signal you get is going to be your next one. We'll see you on the podcast, showcast, whatever cast. But railroads rock. And, yeah.